going today and I'm going to take a look at what it's like to go to a food pantry. I'm going to go and I'm going to see what is it like, who comes to the food pantries, what is the atmosphere, and what are the myths. I'm going to do some myth busting today, and I'm going to open up a world of thinking about the food pantry and how it affects people's lives. Are the people that come to a food pantry, do they look really poor? Do they look really distraught? Or are they more middle class? Are they happy? Are they sad? What is the atmosphere? I'm going to share with you a little bit of insights. I'm really nervous. I've never done anything like this before, but I really want to gain knowledge and I want to gain wisdom on a part of our life that a lot of us don't understand and a part that many of us do understand. So I'm going to share with you. I cannot film because of due to the nature of this video. I will not doing any filming because it's a very personal thing that we are doing today. You know, my thought and insight on the food pantry and let you know what I thought about it. What is it like for tens of millions of people the first time they go to a food pantry? What would it be like? You know, do their heart race like mine? Do they feel nervous? You know, putting yourself in other people's shoes, it can be a real life-changing moment to realize that all of the feelings that they're feeling. I'm driving for the first time to this food pantry. I'm going to share with you a little bit why I'm going and the reason for it. But I'm feeling the apprehension that I bet everybody felt when they first go to a food pantry. So I'll show you a little bit later all of the things I've learned from it. So the one thing we noticed that all the vehicles are actually even nicer than mine. So they drive nice vehicles, and so that is something that was surprising to me. I thought maybe they would have older vehicles, but they're actually very nice vehicles that they have. So it was so much fun. One Saturday of every month, they put all of the food out for the community, and what doesn't get eaten usually will be thrown away. But it's still really good. So I have sausage, potatoes, all kinds of rhubarb, all kinds of bok choy, all kinds of different lettuces, and then I'll show you what else I got. Most importantly to me is I got this, it's called steak, it's chopped up steak, but I'm going to fry this and we are going to can it, and it's going to be like ground beef. They said it tastes just like ground beef, so we're going to go ahead and fry it and then I'm going to can it. I had a wonderful experience. Everybody was so kind, everybody was so happy and pleasant. I can't wait to go next month and share with you more about taking food that was left over and was going to be thrown away, and I can actually really preserve this food. This is one way of thinking outside the box. Here is my thoughts and my experiences of today. I really had fun today. So I'm going to give you a little bit backdrop of where I went and what it was. So our local church has a food pantry. It's every Wednesday, and at the end of the month, whatever food is left as far as fresh food, they will go ahead and they will have it free for the public, for its community. I've heard about this a long time and I was really apprehensive. I really wanted to go, but that means I had to step outside of my comfort zone in order to go. I didn't know how people would react or how people would be. I didn't know what I would feel like. What was my feelings? What was I feeling? And at first my heart was beating fast because I was really just nervous. Like me. I really had a lot of fun. And what happens is the food that doesn't get used up today, that day, then would be thrown away most likely. So it's a really neat thing that they do with the leftover food. Once a month, open up to the public and we can take what we need. And I realized a bunch of things. I realize there's a lot of food waste in the United States, and I realize there's a lot of food waste. Even though there's a lot of things that are happening to help control that waste, there still is a lot of waste. There was still a lot of food that could be used. A lot of the packages of strawberries, maybe half of them were rotted and the other half were good. You know, a lot of people, they turn up their nose when they see it and think, ew, this is old, ew, I'm not going to eat this. But when they realize this, just take it apart and pick out the good. There's still so much good there. And the stereotype is, well, this food's not looking good. It doesn't have that look of freshness that they don't want to even try it. And we've come to a point that we just want everything to be aesthetically perfect. The perfect apple, the perfect banana, everything has to be perfect. And there's so much goodness and so much nutrition in some of this food, and it gets wasted. It's changed my perspective. I'm going to go every Saturday at the end of the month. I have such a deep respect for all of the people and what they're trying to do. I'm also going on a challenge. So you hear a lot of challenges, you know, challenge to do this, challenge to do that. I'm going to see how long I can live off of my garden, my food that I have prepped, and thrown away food. Your recipes are going to come to me. Your recipes are going to come thrown away food recipes. Recipes of food that others didn't want, or recipes of foods that were given to me for free. Can I stay away from the grocery store? Now, I'll still need to get milk, but how much do I really need to get? That is going to be a challenge. You're going to go along with me. Once a month, I'm going to go to this place and continue to have so much fun and fellowship. I got to meet people that I haven't seen since I was a little girl. I got to just share happiness. People were actually very happy. It really surprised me. People were very generous, very kind, the people that were giving and the people that were receiving. It just was a whole beautiful place that I was at today. I got to see people, they cared for one another. Everyone was so respectful. It just was a very joyous time. We were coming together for fellowship, and we were all taking turns. We were being respectful. We were all getting what we need, and there was plenty for everyone. So that was really fun. I'm so glad I got to go. And so many times we are so afraid to move out of our little box. We live in this little box where we're afraid to try new things, to be amongst people that are different than us. We're afraid to leap out of faith and see what it's like. I walked in different shoes today. I walked in shoes of people that maybe didn't have as much as I do. Also, there were people that had more than me that were there. But I got to see what it's like. Really surprised not as many people were there than I thought. And I come to the conclusion. Now, I need to go a bunch more times to really be able to say this with 100% clarity. But it seemed to me like a lot of people that go to that were used to being on food stamps. And food stamps, you can buy whatever you want. You can buy, you know, snacks and ice creams and cakes and cookies. Everything there today was scratch cooking. Everything was fruits and vegetables. And you know, there weren't that many people there. There was a little bit of meat as well, but it just seemed to me like, did people not come because they're used to getting their food for free and they're used to be able to go into the grocery store and getting whatever they want? But for me, it was perfect. I have a very low income, but this is what I was searching for. Something like this, where I could get some fruits and vegetables that I can't grow in my own homestead. And it's food that was going to be thrown away. How much better is that? Instead of dumpster diving and finding food that you could be a little bit iffy, because when you dumpster dive, you have to be very careful because you don't know what was poured in on top of that food. You don't know how long that food has been lingering in there. You don't know when they close the lid how all of that rainwater will seep into the food. There's so many things about dumpster diving that are a little iffy. But when you go to something like this, the food doesn't come from the dumpster. The food came actually from the manufacturer, that actually came from the produce auction, and it's things like that. And so it's another way of reusing something that's going to get thrown away, but it has a little more safety to it because none of the food was old. Guys, for following along this journey with me today, it was an eye-opener. You know, I didn't know what it would be like, and I didn't know how the people would be. I didn't know how they looked or how they dressed, but they were just like me. I blended in perfect there. So is that because I'm low income? Maybe so. Is that because I'm just an everyday girl? Probably more likely. Everyone, and get ready for the recipes coming up, because they're going to be everyday recipes of food that I have here that I've got free or I have in my pantry. No grocery shopping for me. Let's see how long it can last.